The time is now. The time is now. We not waiting for opportunity. We create an opportunity. We not waiting for opportunity. We create an opportunity. All right, let's stick to the script, okay? All right, guys, today I want to talk about how liabilities can turn into responsibilities, and how your liability, if you're responsible enough, can become an asset. Just putting that out there. I know we're big on assets over liabilities, which I totally agree with. The more assets you have, the more value you obtain. But sometimes, how do you get these assets? You know what I mean? Some of us are starting from nothing. Some of us are going to lenders, borrowing, working, trading in time also, you know what I mean? So, everything costs something in order to gain this product or this asset that we want. So I want to talk to you about it in a positive manner. So, assets and liabilities are on your balance sheet. The balance sheet is one of the financial statements that a company has to look at the progress of the company, to see some different trending items, and to see what the book value. Sometimes we look at the balance sheet called the book value of the company, right? You have assets, you have liabilities, and you have equity. But usually what you have is assets and liability, right? And equity is within the liability because it's still something owed, right? Somebody puts money into your account, to your company, or you put money into your company, it's still owed back to you some way, some form, depending on how the company goes. So we say assets equal liability, right? That's the key. Assets equals liabilities. I did that real quick to see if somebody would catch it. But assets is supposed to equal liability on your balance sheet. So how much your liability is and how much your asset is, they should equal each other. Okay. The true equation of it is assets equals liabilities plus equity. Why we have liability plus equity, again, is because the equity is if somebody puts the stockholders, the shareholders, your investments in your company, things of that nature, you know what I mean? These things have to be paid back to that, you know what I mean? The representation of you paying back the money that was given to you for the cash or for whatever else reasons you use those equity funds that was put there for your company. So on the balance sheet, how we do it is assets equals liability plus equity, right? So just saying assets equals liability. Okay, so if assets equal liability, does that make liability a bad thing? This is what I'm saying here, okay? So now let's check it out. Liabilities in your life, we have a lot of them, okay? We create a lot of them. Some of them were just given to us systematically every day, going to work, paying bills, health-wise. Those are liabilities. Those are things that you have to be responsible with in your life in order for you to excel in your life. So with your health, if you eat bad for a long particular time, you're going to feel that in the case of high blood pressure, diabetes, cardiac issues, you know what I mean? Obesity, fatigue, you know what I mean? Anything could happen to you because of over a long period of time not being reliable and responsible with the foods that you take in. But you still need the food, right? For the strength, right? For energy, for growth, you know what I mean? Just depending what you eat, and how you handle it. Hey, I like to go to a Ruth Chris all the time too and have some steaks, but you don't see me going out there every week because we all know beef is harder to break down in your digestive system. It takes a longer period of time. So if you do get sick and have a bacteria, it will hold longer in your body, right? With that beef being there, that meat. But steak tastes good, right? So I do go out there, but I don't go out there religiously. I take my time because I want my body to function at its best capacity as I could. Okay, so there's that, right? There's friends. There's going out. There's spending money, taking different lenders' money for no reason or for foolish reasons. Like, hey, you just got to upgrade on your credit card of $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. You're like, who? I'm going to go out here all weekend. I'm going to go to Vegas. I'm going to go to Cancun or something like that. Hey, that's not really being responsible. You got an extra $3,000 on there. You should be thinking of ways where you can flip that or invest that. You know what I mean? Or put that away as emergency safekeeping for anything ever happens where you don't have to worry. God forbid you lose a job and you're a month out of a job or 2 months out of a job. You can still pay some bills without worrying about your headache of how am I going to get the next meal? Okay. So let me show you too now from a business atmosphere, a business perspective. So you may need inventory for your company, okay? An inventory cost. You buy a certain inventory product that you resell, right? Whatever you do with the manufacturer to create it for you, or whatever inventory you may purchase, if it's shirts, whatever it might be doing, you resell. Okay, so you go ahead and you've done all your forecasting, unshadowing of what you need to have to generate the income that you need to for this company to make it dominant, to make it good, to make it take care of you, you know what I mean? Or whatever other employees you may have. You have that forecast, financial forecast. You go in there to the lenders and you say, hey, I need this so-and-so amount so I can buy this so-and-so amount because I'm going to sell it in this way, market it in this way, and it should bring back potentially this, right? They're like, okay, cool. We'll give you $50,000 for your first bulk, okay? And we can have agreements and arrangements for later on if you need more. But you're gonna pay this interest rate, again, back to the interest rate, over this time period for that amount, okay? Now that interest rate, yes, is an expense. That interest rate for that loan is an expense. But here we go with responsibility, okay? Now, if you take that money, that $50,000 correctly, go ahead and you forecasted that possible interest rate within your price, you can pass that along, right? Not passing it so long to hurt the customer. Let's be serious here. But along so you don't have to eat all of that. So it pays for itself. So that money is being paid back, the interest rate being paid back. And now you have a profit coming in and you don't have to eat that interest rate expense, right? You don't see, you hear people up in the morning right now, they're getting to that bag however they need to, right? Because responsibility, this is responsibility. You hear the birds. This is responsibility we're dealing with here, okay? Responsibility. So I'm telling you, if you can take a liability if you're responsible enough to deal with it. A lot of us aren't. We get this money, these credit cards, and we use it for lavish lifestyle. And we have not worked or earned that yet, right? We haven't earned that yet. We haven't earned these self days. You haven't got a self day. You can't afford a self day. That's how I say it. Can you afford a self day? Because when you really look at it, people, right? When you at work and you take a self day, you look and you see how much self days I have, how much sick time I have, right? Let's be realistic. If you don't have those self days and you really want to take it, you may turn around and say, not feeling good today. Won't be able to make it in. I just want you guys to know I don't want to get anybody sick. You know, I'm gonna get with you though. I'm gonna get with you. I'm gonna let you. Oh God. Oh God. Let you know how I feel tomorrow, right? We do that. But you do it because you have the time to pay for that day. You're not gonna lose pay for that day, right? And that means you still can pay your bills because you're not losing the hours, you're not losing the pay, the allocation's already going to whatever the bills are on whatever the mortgage or whatever it is going on monthly expenses, right? That's what a self day is. When you can afford to be off whenever you want and your bills still can be paid. Your life is still being taken care of. Passive income is still coming in. Whatever investments you've done over your time of being responsible is created such assets for you where you can take a self day every day if you felt like it, you know? And this is what the responsibility does. Liabilities are not bad because to me, changing your time for money too, that's a liability. To me, I got to give up all this time of my life and my efforts in order to make a certain dollar amount or figure. And I may have to do that for 20, 30, 40 years of my life. Or more, depending on the economic situations or whatever setbacks we may have, because if we weren't responsibly ready, or just something that's happened to all of us out here, come on, man. My time is valuable to me. Just like money is valuable to you, my time is valuable to me. So that, to me, if I have to give it up, is a liability, and it better be coming back with an asset. I better be able to develop something over long periods of time from it, from those moments. You understand? So again, I'm telling you, a liability is not a bad thing, because you can use your liability in order to go ahead and create your assets. Because now that you buy that inventory is being sold, you're making money off of it. You didn't have to take your personal money off of it. You're paying the interest expense back off of that as well. And now you generate income. Let me give you another example. You go ahead and you want to get into rental properties. You go ahead, you get a lender, get a loan. Like, cool, you got the loan. You go ahead and you get a property. Obviously, you know, you have everything on there like we explained before, the interest and the principal, and then all the other stuff that's going on to it, right? For a mortgage. You pass that on to a renter. They pay everything, and you don't even got to go crazy and say, oh, I got to make $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. You be like, hey, they're paying that? I'll give them dirt cheap. And you just make $50 profit off of it each month. And you're looking at like, wow, $50 profit, seriously? Yes, because you're not paying that. They're paying that. They're paying the principal, they're paying the expense, right? If you want to pay extra, you can. But that money they're paying for that mortgage for you, that's still your money. That's your money. Because when you go to sell it, say you sell it and you're at like 30 grand that they paid onto it or something like that. When you sell it, that's your 30 grand that you didn't have to do anything. They did that. You see what I'm saying? They paid the mortgage. You got $50 a month, okay, but you also had an asset that will appreciate over time with value. And they've also been paying towards the principal that you didn't have to pay towards. So again, when you sell that home, that is your money. You see what I'm saying? Just using it responsibly. Using it responsibly. That's all. Liabilities are not bad, because a lot of liabilities is how companies create assets. You know what I mean? But of the liabilities that you're choosing around your life, are those things creating assets for you? Is that what's happening? Or what you're doing in your daily tasks, your daily habits, your behaviors, your thought process, the people around you, are they a negative liability for you or a positive liability for you? And it's not even on them. Where's your responsibility in that? Are you taking the responsibility for that? You understand? Are you doing that? Are you taking responsibility for your liabilities to turn them into assets? Because we're trying to create more what, people? More self-days. That's what we're trying to do out here. We're trying to create more self-days. You understand? We're trying to make self-day every day. Do you understand me? In order to do that, you got to start being responsible with your liabilities, so your liabilities can convert more assets for you, more value for you in your life. You know what I mean? So that's what I wanted to say today, guys. And like I said, we're not waiting for opportunity. We create an opportunity. We're not waiting for opportunity. We create an opportunity. So the time is now. Let's do that.